We're gonna move on.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.
Yeah, buddy. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're so glad you guys are with us on Washington Football Weekly. We want you to stay with us because we're going to preview the Panthers game. We got a special guest coming and to talk about it, to talk about the Panthers and his favorite player, Mr. Cam Newton. I know, I know that's not true. So, but before we do, really quickly, we want to dive into just a couple real positions and throw you a couple of nuggets about them. We've been hinting towards them for the most of the day. Will, I'm going to come to you first, talking about the tight end group. We've seen how many tight ends we have, and once everybody gets healthy, we know a lot of those guys at the back end aren't going to be there. Talk to me about the tight end group. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, so this seems to be the group that I think that has us most excited going, in this offseason and kind of seeing what we got. We were very surprised this offseason how we never went after like a big receiver. We do have Cam Sims. We all thought they were going to target the Drake London out of Southern Cal because he'd be that big body to go with Terry and Curtis. And so we said, well, where are we going to do in the red zone? Where are we going to have some size? And we've kind of gone that route with our tight ends. And what makes this training camp kind of excited is we've got a bunch of athletes. We've got Cole Turner. You've got Logan Thomas. Let's not forget him. And when he gets healthy, he can do it all. He's a really good tight end. But you got Cole Turner behind him, who I think is going to make a pretty big impact early on this season. You've got Armani Rogers, who's a converted quarterback, great athlete, and they're saying he's really showing out. You mentioned it, Curtis Hodges, 6'8" athlete. That's just a target. San Diego, the LA Chargers have a guy, Donald Parham, who was on our practice squad in 2019. He was 6'8". There's a weapon there in the red zone that you can't sometimes guard height. And so there's a lot of athletes there that are kind of interesting. Samus Reyes in year 2 that we're trying to see who can make this roster and do something, because as we know, our quarterback loves tight ends.
Yep.
And like we were all excited this offseason, like maybe we could go after and go get Zach Ertz and bring his comfort, in. But maybe they're finding little ways. I really think Cole Turner is going to be, that security blanket. I think he's going to like Logan Thomas. I think he will like John Bates, as that little like check down safety point. But so it's an interesting position because we really got a bunch of nobodies that are just athletic, and we're trying to see who is going to show up here in the preseason to make the 53.
Yeah. And that's something I'm very eager to see, because of the fact that we know what the wide receiver room looks like. And like you said, we know Carson, we need to give him as much help as possible. And he had Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz. And we know what he did to our defense with those two tight ends, what he did to the league when he was at the top of his game. That's what he loves to do, go right to his tight ends or his backs. To have those big guys going down the field and having the hands, that's something that is he's all about. It seems to make him more comfortable. So, like you said, we have the Logan Thomas. We have these guys that can perform, but it's who's going to take that next step. Who's going to show up, and especially right now, you never want to see injuries or anything, but the fact that Logan Thomas is out, the fact that Bates is struggling, the fact that Cole Turner has hamstrings, if we look at it, if tomorrow's game day and everybody's healthy, obviously those three are starting. Those are our top 3 guys. Yeah. So then it looks at the Armani Rogers, the Curtis Hodges, the Eli Wolf, whoever. It looks at those other guys and saying, okay, you might have the specs, Samus Reyes, you might have the height, the size, the ability, this and that, but you need to have the full package, or you're not going to play. You're not going to play, and to be honest with you, you're going to be buried on the depth chart and hope and pray that you might get on special teams or something like that, and just get in where you fit in. But to be honest, most of these guys, at least to the tail end of this list, will not be here come season first week of the season. So. Right.
Well, you just mentioned special teams, which very much surprised me. So Samus Reyes has not been having a very good training camp.
No.
And the thing we've heard from him is has really bad hands. No. And I really thought when we signed him it was because of that workout where he like showed out and showed how fast he was and how athletic it was. And then they've said he's a better blocker than receiver.
Yeah.
That just really surprised me. But they also said that could be his path to making the roster, because if Hodges and Rodgers and even Cole Turner are learning how to block, Cole Turner said he basically was a wide receiver in college.
Yep.
He's never had to line up and block. Then that may be a spot for Reyes, because we need someone on special teams, on punt protection, on kick protection, extra point protection, to make blocks. We can't be letting those guys get trucked and by corners and DBs and that type of stuff. So that could be a spot for him. I was just really surprised. I thought in year 2 we would see this like meteoric rise, where here we go. We've got the next Antonio Gates that we brought in from basketball, and it might not be happening.
Yeah, and I mean, and look, it begs the question: is the Sammis Reyes experiment over in Washington?
Good question.
Because
Good question.
Look, we've seen the direction that we're going in as far as what we're drafting. We saw that we just picked up a tight end. You know what I mean? We're not going to keep you on this, hope that you're going to do it. Hope that you're going to get it together. But like you said, it's the little things that you are able to do that can contribute to the team that might give you a couple more days on the roster. So we'll see what he does. But that being a position that I'm kind of surprised we have as many guys as we have. Then we go to the opposite side, the position that we absolutely need more guys, which we seem to be neglecting. Even though we did get Nathan Gary, it's still we missed Barr, we missed all these different guys, and we signed the Mayos. We signed some of the guys that maybe are like, okay, this is going to be your third or fourth string guy. Like, this is not your starter. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what? But I guess my question to you, Will, is: should I be surprised? Is the trend of the league going away from linebackers, or what do you think?
That's a good question, Sean. Yeah. So all off season, we've been shocked as to what we have not done and to improve this linebacking core. And we're going to go into the regular season with 2 starting linebackers, Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb. And that's really surprising a lot of folks. But is it possible that the Commanders are just following the league trends?
Mm-hmm.
And we're more concerned now. Obviously, I think the bigger thing we have to recognize is if either one of those 2 get hurt, we're in a whole mess of trouble.
Yeah.
But is linebacker today the same as it used to be? And the answer to that is no. So I have to give Al Galdi and his podcast a lot of credit, because that's where I heard a lot of this information. And he was researching on Pro Football Focus, who did this whole research on where is defense trending. So last year, I guess they were the football team last year, we had 65 total plays on defense when we had 3 linebackers on the field, when we ran a traditional 4-3. All right. 65 total plays, all 17 games. Jonathan Allen used to play 50 to 60 snaps a game. Right. And we ran 65 snaps the entire season. So last year, we already were not playing a traditional 4-3. So I think it may be something where the reporters of the team and the fans, we may be the ones kind of freaking out a little bit about this, but they kind of have an idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And this is the way the NFL is going. Pro Football Focus said that 75% of defensive plays were the nickel coverage.
Ooh.
And the Buffalo Bills ran it 92% of the time.
Yeah.
And the Buffalo Bills have the defense we probably want to emulate.
Right.
And they've got linebackers that can run. That Edmonds guy at linebacker. The other one, Milano, is the other linebacker who we really wanted last offseason. Yeah. So it seems like we're kind of trying to emulate that. So obviously, if injuries don't happen, it almost seems like we're just doing where the NFL is going towards. And maybe it may not be as big a deal as we're making it.
And it's interesting, because that would explain why we have been busy getting more corner safety, more secondary help, because like you said, that's where the league is going. I mean, look, in the NFL, to your point on those stats, the NFL did that study. Teams had 5 DBs 61.4% of the time in the nickel, 61% of the time. Look, you and I, we're from the old school. we're from that front seven, your 4 D linemen, your 3 or 4 backers coming up and just dominating, wreaking havoc. The Bears, the Ravens, all these teams that really didn't necessarily, maybe the Ravens had, Ed Reed, but they didn't necessarily have the best backfield. Now you're looking at it, like you said, with Buffalo being by far that defense that we all want to emulate. Having everybody in the back seven is where they're, where the pride is. So it's very interesting because it's that you see the evolution of the league, to your point. Like, you see how things are changing, and maybe we're just getting on board with that change.
Right.
So
I'm going to say this. It's so good that Ash isn't on right now to hear me say this, but this is where a guy like Dexter Coakley would be like thriving. Not that he wasn't a good linebacker in his day, but there became a point where he, some of these guys were too small, and you wanted these big Raven Caldwell 250, 260-pound linebackers, and that's not today's NFL. Deion Jones was like 220, 230. Right. I know he's hurt, and we were basically having the Atlanta Falcon takeover on our Facebook page.
You see that?
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't giving them those comments. I saw all that.
But Deion Jones came in the league, and he was able to run, and he made an instant impact. So it's an interesting trend, and it goes to one of our players and kind of what we're doing. Jamin Davis. They went back to his combine numbers. He ran a 4.3 40. Deshaun Jackson ran a 4.3 40. Jamin Davis is really, really athletic, and he's fast. They also, I thought about when they were in Carolina, they drafted Shaq Thompson out of Washington. Shaq was a safety that they were converting to linebacker. Maybe they saw something here in Jamin. This is me hoping, glass half full, that they saw in Shaq Thompson. Like, year one, he may not be ready, but he has the traits, the skills, the athleticism, the instincts that we see to when the light bulb comes on, he's going to be great. And Shaq Thompson's still in the league right now. Right. He just signed an extension with Carolina. So that I'm hoping that's the case, because we need Jamin Davis to make a play and be a big time player for us. But maybe that's kind of why, and you're not going to know it until he plays. So you got to get him on the field. I fault them last year for making him a middle linebacker. I think they just got him thinking too much.
Yep.
And he's starting to say he's reading and he's reacting quicker.
Yes.
And that's what we need, because if you got a Holcomb and Davis running sideline to sideline, let's go.
Right. Absolutely. And one of the things that even he's been saying is that his comfort level is so much. It's leaps and bounds from what it was a year ago, when it, like you said, when it was kind of everything's coming at you all at once. We want to get back to him just playing ball. Like you said, read and react. We need to get back to him just going out there and doing it, and just doing what he, doing as he did in college. What's going on, Andrew? North Sports Dynasty.
Are the Bucks? Is his Bucks on right now? But Tom's not playing.
Oh no, Tom's definitely not playing.
He's out for a little bit.
It's the
who's
Ravens,
playing again tonight?
The Ravens and the Titans. And ladies and gentlemen in the comments, let us know the scores of that one. The Ravens and the Titans are playing, and the Patriots and the Giants. I know it was 7-3 at the beginning of this show. Patriots over Giants, and 7-0 Ravens over Titans.
I'm hearing that Tyrod might be pushing Daniel Jones a little bit, which I love Tyrod, but
yeah, I love him in the league. I was never a Virginia Tech guy, but I love him in the league. All right, I'll say that.
You don't like getting your hopes up in September and October, and then getting dashed because your team actually sucks when they play somebody.
Golly,
that's the life of a Hokie football fan.
Yeah, oh man. I'll tell you one thing though: walking into that stadium on a Saturday night with that music playing,
is something to give you goosebumps.
Oh yeah, nothing like it, man. Nothing like it. But look, ladies and gentlemen, look, this is linebacker group is something that we've all been talking about all off season. And look, a lot of this is speculation, the things that we've heard, things that people have been reporting on. So we're gonna try to follow this. Hopefully, what this new trend is where we're leaning towards, and it would kind of help answer the question. Is us getting more defensive backs and safeties and everything like that, is that part of a plan, to kind of go along with the trend of the league? We're following how things are going. So, hey, hopefully that'll play out that way. Hopefully that will play out that way. But ladies and gentlemen, like our guy has said, football is back, ladies and gentlemen, and there's games on tonight. We're going to transition, and when we come back, we will have our special guest on the show to talk about the team that they're going to take their first L on Saturday to this team right here, baby.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.